Hey everyone, welcome back to class. Sadly I'm away today, but I made a little video for you so that we can work through this one together. Today we're going to be looking at fractions as percentages. So you might have seen percentages before, especially as you might think, oh, I've seen them on tests before, I've seen maybe the percentages on the weather. You might have to turn and talk to the person next to you about the percentages you've seen in your own life, or anything like that. But we're going to be talking about how we work out percentages and what they mean in terms of fractions, because fractions and percentages actually go hand in hand together. Now you might remember that last week we looked at fractions such as 1/2 and 2/4, and okay, we go 3/6. And one thing that these all have in common is they are actually all equal to 1/2. Now believe me or not, that when we work with these, this is what we call simplifying fractions, or even just converting fractions between different things. When I work with percentages, in a similar way to how I simplify fractions, I actually just want to keep it as a fraction over 100. So you might want to try and work out if 1/2 was equal to 2/4, which is equal to 3/6, what would I get if I was to have something over 100? I might give you a minute or two to work this one out. If you want to pause the video, you can, but we'll quickly work it out together. How I would work it out is I've multiplied this one, I've rubbed these ones here out. Look, I can take my 1/2, and I can see that to get to 100, I've multiplied it by 50, and to get to, so I can put 2 times 50 equals 100. And then here I've got 1 times 50, which hopefully we can guess equals 50 over 100. Now you might be saying, Mr. Hales, we've just worked out what 50 over 100 is as a fraction. But what we end up having instead is we can now convert this to what we call a percentage. Because you might have heard of the word percentage before, and it's usually something out of 100. Which is the same as what we've got here. So I can just convert this one here to equals 50%. Now that might be a little bit confusing, but we're going to go through another example just in a moment. Quickly wipe off the whiteboard. And wow, with a bit of camera trickery, our whiteboard is now clean. We're going to work out another example using the same kind of techniques. So let's just say I had I'm going to go 3/4 for this one. So what I want to do, so I've got my 3/4 here, I need to times this by something so that I can get something over 100. Alright, so what would I need to times 4 by to get to 100? Well, I could go through a few different options, but eventually, hopefully we can work it out that it would be 25. So as I times the bottom by 25, I would also want to make sure I times the top by 25. So 4 times 25 equals 100, and I might even get you to quickly give yourselves a moment to work out the top as well. We've got 3 times 25, and hopefully we've worked out that that equals 75. Alright, very nice. So as a percentage, we might be able to then work this out. We've got 75%. Hopefully it's not too glary where you are. But we've got 75 over 100, which I now know equals 75%. Just to clarify, whenever I have something over 100, I can then write it out as a percentage. So I can go 75 over 100 equals 75%. It has to be over 100 first though, before I work it out. Alright, let's go through one more example. I'll just quickly pause this and clean my whiteboard. And once again, with my camera trickery, we've cleaned the whiteboard, but I've added some new numbers up here. So we have got 30%. Now I want to work this out as a fraction. So I want to convert it to something that I know is a fraction. Now we've talked about it a little bit before, but if I had 30%, I know that that's just something over 100. So I might say it's 30 over 100. Nice and easy today. Now, you might remember from last week that we did some simplifying fractions. Now, looking at my number on the board, I can see that there's some common factors that both 30 and 100 have in common. So I can look at the fact I can divide them both by 2, I can divide them both by 5, but most importantly and most highly, I can divide both of them by 10. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to go 30 divided by 10 is going to give me 3. And 100 divided by 10, nice and easy for us today, is going to give me 10. So my final answer for this one, 30% is going to be equal to 3 over 10. Alright, we'll go through one more example together. I might even keep this one nice and clean for you. I'll keep this up on the board so we can follow the same steps. We've got 65%. I know that this is going to be 65 over, and you guessed it, 100. Very nice. I feel like I'm that guy that always does that YouTube videos, the ones that no one likes. But we're going to go through it today. Alright, already on the board, can I see any numbers that both these can be divided by? Well, one, I know it's got a 5 on the end, so I know it's being able to be divided by 5. So I'm going to try that out here. 65 divided by 5. It's a bit of a tricky one, but we're going to get to that later. And 100, I know that's also divisible by 5. Alright. And finally, our answer is going to be a fraction. So to start off, 65 divided by 5. If I were to put that in on a calculator, it would give me 13. You might want to double check that one for me. I'm not always the best with my math. And 100 divided by 5 equals 20. Alright, so my final fraction would be 13 over 20. And that is what 65% can be represented as. Alright, thanks for watching today, guys. Make sure you continue on with chapter 4.9 on page 224. And yeah, have a great lesson.